students, in this session I'll just brief you once again about the parts of the flower forming floral whorls and the next part of the morphology of flowering plants about the seed and types of seeds. As we know that flower grow in the axil of a leaf, or it grow at the apex of the stem. It is modified shoot for sexual reproduction. The stalk of the flower is called pedicel, and the expanded tip of the pedicel is called thalamus. Here I have shown you three different shapes of the thalamus. This type of thalamus will raise the ovary upwards, means remaining floral whorls will present at the base of the ovary. Such flower is said to be hypogynous, having superior ovary. Here thalamus is cup shaped, where ovary is half inferior and half superior. It is perigynous. And here the thalamus is vase shaped or flask shaped, where it gives maximum protection to the ovary. So, if you consider evolutionary development, this is primitive position of the ovary, and as there is a need to protect the ovary because this is the main center for fertilization and embryonic development, so future embryo they have to protect. So this is the most evolved character, and this kind of flower is said to be epigynous. I already mentioned you that there is a scientific language to describe the flower. We call it as floral formula. To show hypogynous flower, G is gynoecium, and the members of gynoecium are carpels, and fertile part of the carpel is ovary. So ovary is above all. This is the symbol for hypogynous. This is the symbol for perigynous. This line indicates ovary is half inferior, half superior. And this is the symbolic representation of inferior ovary and epigynous flower. Then, there are two components, not compulsory, but in most of the flowers we can see the bract, a leafy outgrowth or a small leaf. In its axil the flower develops is called bract. Flower with bract we call bracteate, and flower without bract we call ebracteate. At the apex of the pedicel, tiny outgrowths are present. These are also green in color, known as bracteoles. Flower with bracteoles called EBRL, and without bracteoles symbolized as EBRL. The outermost whorl of a flower is made up of sepals. So this forms a calyx. Calyx represented as K. Now, if the members of sepals are 5 and they are free, it is written as K subscript 5. This condition is polysepalous. If the sepals are united, we need to put a bracket. So this condition is gamosepalous. Calyx having 5 sepals, they are free. So no bracket. Polysepalous. Calyx with 5 sepals, they are united. So condition is gamosepalous. Here then. The next is corolla represented by C. Here also, I have shown you 5 petals. They are free from each other. Polypetalous. If we draw bracket, if they are fused, then it is gamopetalous. So K for calyx, C for corolla. The number written as a subscript without bracket is poly and with bracket is gamo. These two are non-essential whorls of a flower. Then androecium composed of stamens, and the stamens fertile part is anther, and it is represented as A. Gynoecium is a female part, so A is a male whorl represented by this symbol, and gynoecium is a female whorl represented by this symbol. Clear? Gynoecium represented by G. The members are carpels, and each carpel has stigma, style and ovary. Anther, in which microspores are produced, which contain male gametes. The microspores are also called as pollen grains. They are transferred from anther to stigma during pollination. So stigma receives microspores, allow them to germinate so that male gametes through the pollen tube enter in the style. And here the megaspore is waiting in the ovary, which contain the female gamete, and it is a site for double fertilization. After fertilization, when the embryonic development continues, the embryo will form embryonal axis. This is embryonal axis. This is also embryonal axis. As the entire megasporangium or a ovule develops into seed. Now there are two types of seeds we can see in flowering plants. Dicotyledonous, having two cotyledons, having embryonal axis. It is without stored food, so it is non-endospermic or exalbuminous. Monocotyledonous seed, having only one cotyledon known as scutellum, and it is with the endosperm, so it is endospermic seed. So seeds are of two types, dicotyledonous, monocotyledonous. Dicotyledonous seed having a pair of cotyledon having embryonal axis. The anterior tip we call plumule, and this portion is called radicle, and it is surrounded by the seed coat. Seed coat, we call it as outer layer testa and inner layer tegmen. So testa and tegmen together forms the outermost seed coat, which is harder, keep the seed in dormant condition. Dormancy is a phase of inactivity. The seeds will remain for longer time, and once they get the available conditions, they will germinate, and on germination, plumule will develops into shoot system and radicle grow as root system, and the story will repeat. Here, this is very important structure, carry 5 marks weightage. Example is maize. Here example is pea, or you can take any dicotyledonous seed. When you learn the maize in sectional view, it represents the fruit actually. The fruit wall and the seed coats are intact. We cannot separate it. So this particular is a structure of a seed having the outer covering made up of protein known as aleurone layer. A big portion of the seed is having a stored food endosperm rich in starch, and there is a single cotyledon known as scutellum. This is important for 1 mark. And in this, there are two embryonic parts. Embryonic shoot is plumule, embryonic root is radicle. Now see the evolution. Here, the protection is not given to the plumule and radicle because both are enclosed by fleshy cotyledons, but here there is a special sheath available on the plumule and on the radicle. So coeloctile covering the plumule and coelorhiza covering the radicle. So on germination, plumule will give rise shoot system and radicle give rise root system. Once the seeds are developed, okay, and then ovaries start developing into a fruit. Now, this is the last part of the topic. So when we say fruit, fruit is known as ripened ovary or mature ovary. So result of sexual reproduction, ovary develops into fruit and ovules develops into seeds. Seeds are of two types. Now, like that, fruits are classified as true fruits. The fruit developing from ovary are said to be true fruits. Example, mango. Sometimes ovary fails to develop into fruits, then it is known as false fruit. Example is apple. If you cut apple, the outer fleshy part what we eat, it is edible, known as thalamus. Receptacle. So your receptacle is edible, and whatever we throw, the membranous part, we can't eat that. It is a ovary. So ovary is unable to develop into fruit. So thalamus forms a receptacle and converted into fruit. They are called false fruit. There are some fruits which are seedless, as the fruit develops without fertilization, and they are called as parthenocarpic fruit. So parthenocarpic fruits are seedless. Example is banana or pomegranate. Pomegranate is available now. Grapes are available. These are artificially induced parthenocarpic fruits. So natural parthenocarpic fruit available is banana. So true fruit develops from ovary. False fruit develops from some other parts of the flower but never from ovary, and parthenocarpic fruits develops without fertilization. Fruit is protected by or covered by a fruit wall, and fruit wall is known as pericarp. And this pericarp in some fruits differentiate as epicarp, outer one, mesocarp, and inner is endocarp. Recall example mango. The ripened mango whose outer layer is leathery, unable to eat, it is epicarp. The juicy, sweet, fleshy is mesocarp, and hard inside is endocarp. Recall the coconut. Okay, the coconut is ripened now. Outer thin peppery covering is the epicarp. The fibrous is the mesocarp, and hard stony which we break is the endocarp. And inside the endocarp there is a white part what we eat as cobra. Okay, this we call endosperm. And in that endosperm at one side there is a small seed located. If it germinates, it develops into a plantlet. Thus, we have completed morphology of flowering plants. I have covered root system with the modifications, shoot system with the modifications, leaf, types of leaves, phyllotaxy, venation, modifications in the leaf. Then inflorescence, racemose inflorescence, cymose inflorescence, and then I taught you the parts of the flower, arrangement of members, and estivation and placentation. And today once again I briefed you about the parts and the conditions, and we have covered seeds and the types, fruits and the types. With this I'll conclude today's session. Thank you.